Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
We can trickle into what happened at Cameron Indoor Stadium, where Duke avenged a loss earlier this year to Georgia Tech, and it got scary at times. But Tyrese Proctor made some big shots. Kyle Filipowski scored 30, and the Blue Devils, they win 84-79. But, Jeff, that leads me to the question here, and you'll get to your takeaways from this game. Who would you lean towards right now as the best team in the ACC?
So today it's North Carolina. But ask me that question in a month, and I want to see how Tyrese Proctor continues to develop here. And maybe with McCain, if they can get going together and Flip can look like he has the last couple games, you know what? I might have a different answer. Today it's North Carolina because I think that team has gelled quickly. Duke has had, some issues, right? I mean, obviously with Proctor's injury and his slow start, that has factored into their kind of up and down play. And, even today, Proctor was the best game he's played all year offensively. And they barely beat a Georgia Tech team that's going to be lucky to get in the NIT at home.
Yeah, they really struggled defensively today. And I would put a lot of that down to not having Mark Mitchell. They don't have I would say a ton of great on-ball defenders or perimeter defenders, and they really don't have any rim protection when Mitchell isn't out there. If you go and look at who they started tonight, it was the four guards and Kyle Filipowski. They basically had Tyrese Proctor playing the four tonight, and Georgia Tech kind of ball screened them to death. And I think that it is impressive that they were able to come back and get that one. I think they were now by 12 in the second half. Kyle Filipowski had 30, 13 forces, 2 steals, 2 blocks, which is just an absurd stat line. But I would tend to agree with you at this point. I do think that North Carolina is the more balanced team. And I beat the point to death, but the way that they're playing right now is just, it gives them the floor defensively, right? And then what they can be offensively. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens if 3-point regression hits. They've allowed just 18% from beyond the arc shooting from their opponents over the course of the last 5 games. And that's something that can be a little bit fluky in the numbers. And I don't want to say luck because that's the wrong way to phrase it, but sometimes that can be something that will regress to the mean at some point. But I think you're right. I think it is North Carolina. Is it crazy to say I think North Carolina is the better team? I think that they are a very real title contender, but that Duke might actually have a higher ceiling if everything comes together for them. If Tyrese Proctor ends up being the guy we think he could be, if Jeremy McCain keeps making shots, if Jeremy Roach keeps playing the way that he's playing, and they get Mark Mitchell back and he's healthy. I think he's got a sprained knee. It doesn't sound like it's something too serious, but I think that you can say both of those things and be right, that North Carolina is better right now. North Carolina might be a top 3 to 5 team in the country, and that Duke might actually have a higher ceiling on a game-by-game basis. Am I crazy?
No, because
that's a consistent take from anybody sane, I think. Right.
Yeah, and if you looked at any preseason rankings, did we at the Field of 68 not have Duke at number 1
in
the preseason? So that would reveal the upside. What's it take for them, Jeff? What's it take for Duke to get to that echelon?
Well, I mean, Proctor showed some of it today. I mean, again, if they can get – we thought Flip and Proctor were going to be the 1-2 punch. They were today, but McCain struggled. And as Rob said, like, Mark Mitchell is a huge piece of this team on the defensive and energy, and even like offensively, you're not running anything for him. And that's the beauty of Mark Mitchell, right? Like, you don't have to run anything for him because he'll just go out and get on the offensive glass and again, get out in transition and get his points that way. That's the beauty from him. I mean, if you look at it today, right, they had to play, and Ryan Young was good, but he played 22 minutes today, right? Caleb Foster played 28 minutes, had 3 points. McCain didn't do anything in 38 minutes really offensively. So, again, they were thinner on the bench. They had to play Foster more minutes. He didn't really give them much. So Mitchell's huge. All their guys are huge. But again, listen, to me, the best thing that happened today was Tyrese Proctor. I would have taken a loss if I was Duke, in a way, just to get Tyrese Proctor going, because you're not going anywhere without him. In March, You are not winning. You're not going to Final Four. You're not having any shot without Tyrese Proctor playing the way he did today.
So then here's the thought that I have, Rob, off of that, because I agree totally with you, Jeff, that Proctor's the most important piece to this puzzle. I feel like the natural thought when you look at Duke is, okay, year one of the Shire era was what it was. They showed some good signs, but at the end of the day, they lost in the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. Rob, we know what the ceiling could be. The ceiling could be that Duke's in Arizona at the Final Four if everything pans out. But what does Jon Shire need to end up doing in year two for this to be viewed as the right direction type of season for the Duke Blue Devils?
I mean, they have to keep winning. He's doing it right now. Right? I don't think you have to win the ACC regular season title if North Carolina is as good as they are right now. I think that you can see the growth within this team. We saw the growth within this program last year. You see the pieces that they're getting on the recruiting trail. You see the guys that they're going to be bringing in next season. I don't think the bottom is going to fall out of this team. I think that there are difficulties involved with rotating pieces in and out of the lineup, as important as Mark Mitchell and as important as Tyrese Proctor are. We are seeing Shire kind of do the same thing that Dan Hurley is as he's dealing with Steph Castle being out and Donovan Clingan being out and being able to keep on winning games, even if it's not the prettiest thing in the world. You know what matters at the end of the day? They were down by 10 in the second half, and they found a way to get the victory. And to me, that says a lot, especially when that's a team that already beat you on the road earlier this season. So I think that he is doing it, Fan. I don't think it's something where we have to look here and say we need to question Jon Shire for any. I don't see any reason why you would do that at this point. They're 13-3.
No,
they're
I'm
4-1 in the ACC. No, I know what you're saying. I know, and I'm not saying that you are, but it's just it's. I think he's doing everything that he needs to be doing right now, right? I don't know how much more he could be doing in this moment when you consider the totality of everything involved.
No, in this moment,
Just
no.
play
But
TJ
Jeff,
Power. Play TJ Power more. That's the only thing he should be doing.
Jeff, we both know. Everybody here knows what, and some of it's BS. Like some of it is overrated, and it's going to always come. It's like the Purdue FDU crap. But when you're the coach at Duke, you're under the spotlight. We also know that for this team, with all that talent, and you're saying all this about what they could be, they second weekend minimum for this Duke team.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, so if you don't beat Carolina in the regular season, that's okay, but you better not lose in the second round of the NCAA tournament. So, it can't be both here. You can't finish second fiddle unless like Carolina ends up, winning the whole thing or something like that. But for the most part, you've got to make some noise in the NCAA tournament this year if you're Shire, or else there's going to be pressure on you next year. And you got Cooper Flag coming in, and that's fine. There's going to be a ton of pressure on you next year because you have Cooper Flag coming in, and it's going to be a complete circus, and the expectations are going to be probably even out of whack with having the likely number one overall pick next year.
That is the biggest thing right there. The single biggest thing is that with Cooper Flag coming in, the amount of hype that's going to surround that is going to be astronomical, right? It's going to be insane. It's going to be like Zion times Trae Young times Ben Simmons, all of that. It's going to be completely bonkers around there. And being able to live up to that hype is not going to be an easy thing to do because every single misstep is going to be scrutinized over and over and over again, probably on this show as much as anywhere else, right? And we're going to be a part of that. But it is what it is. It's part of being at Duke.
Leading the way.
It's part of having that job, and it's part of bringing in a player of that caliber. And if you go into it, and this is the one of the more intelligent things that you've said, Jeff, if you go into that having already finished behind Carolina, 2 first weekend exits, and then you got Cooper Flag, and you don't go out there and look like one of the best teams in the history of college basketball, then you're going to have people saying, oh, he's not the guy. He's not here to replace Coach K. He's not going to get the job done. Even though, Duke's been pretty damn good for the last 18 months since Jon Shire's been in charge. So that's where it comes into. It's less about what's actually happening and more about the way that all of that is going to combine to create pressure on him and create pressure on the program and the job that he's doing.
I would say that that's all the more reason why getting to a Sweet 16 this year with this team,
Mhm.
with their upside, is important because you want momentum at the very least. Can they get to the Final Four? Of course they can. And you get to the second weekend of this tournament. You think the first weekend's random? It's so damn hard just to win 2 games. We keep saying it on our show. It's on our DTF pod, Rob. It's not 1 6-game tournament. It's 6 1-game tournaments. And that means that there's complications that come with that.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.